Do you feel bound today and tired of it and want to be free? Stay with me today how we learn how praise breaks down the prison walls here on Refining Grace, where we study the Word of God to be refined, strengthened, and full of God's grace. Paul and Silas were out preaching and doing the will of God and ministering, and they were thrown in prison because of this. They were put in shackles, had stocks on their feet. Now, the prisons at that time were not like the prisons of today. They were filthy, they were cold, they were dark. During that time, they could have easily sat and felt sorry for themselves. And here, God, we're doing all this for you, and look where we're at. We're in the muck. It stinks here. It's gross. Why? We were working for you. But that's not what they did. You see, they started praising. They started singing praises to God. Now, they weren't singing Amazing Grace or I'll Fly Away or Worthy of It All or the goodness of God even. Those songs weren't created yet. They were singing out of the Psalms in the Bible probably. They may have made up a chorus of their own of praise to God. It would sound really foreign to us of how they would sing because their style was totally different than how we sing today and how we do worship today and even how we did worship 50 years ago. It was totally different, but it was still from the heart. All throughout the prison, I can hear how their song just rang throughout the prison. You know, there was a prison guard that lived on the upper floor of the prison. I can hear it walking up into his room, to his house, as they're trying to eat supper. They hear Paul and Silas sing, and they're like, these guys are crazy. They're in the bottom of the prison, the worst of the worst, and they're singing. You know, when we're in the worst of the worst, that's when we should praise the loudest. That was when we should reach out to God the loudest and sing praises and thanks to Him. That's when we should worship Him the most. Because, you know, those walls didn't stay still. At some point in the night, because of that praise, those walls started shaking. Those door hinges started coming loose. They started coming open. Prisoners were afraid. I'm sure there was lots of yelling and chaos, and Paul and Silas said, just come here. It's okay. It's going to be okay because our God has us. He has angels surrounding us. It doesn't matter what happened. We're safe. Come in here with us and you'll be safe because God's in here. When things are falling apart around this world, we have to stay put together with God, not in ourselves. When we start singing praises, the angels encamp around us and start worshiping also. But the greatest thing is God's presence is there and God's protection is there. It doesn't matter what happens because nothing's going to happen that God doesn't allow. If you go on, you see that the prisoner were all safe. They were all right there because when the guard came down, the guard was getting ready to kill himself because he thought all the prisoners had gone, and he knew that he was a dead man if they were gone. Paul yelled out to him, it's okay, we're all right here. Just come here. Well, because of that, the prison guard and all of his family was saved that day. Because Paul and Silas, instead of mumbling and grumbling, started praising, souls were saved. Because they praised unto God, they were set free. If you want set free, sing praises. Call out to God. Be with Him. Because even while they were in that prison, even while the doors were locked shut, even while the shackles were still around their legs, they were free in their spirit. They had peace in their soul because God was there. It didn't matter what was going on. It didn't matter what the circumstances looked like, and they looked bad because they had the peace of God with them and they were free. So it doesn't matter what's going on with you today. God's with you. Allow His peace to comfort you and to surround you. Sing praises unto Him to break down those walls, to break open those prison doors, to break those shackles free. Because when you sing praises, God answers. Pray that you got something out of this lesson. If you did, watch the next lesson coming up here. May God bless you and keep you. May He make His face to shine upon you and give you peace.